Yeah, the UCI has banned the Supertuck. What is a Supertuck? This is a Supertuck, the dumbest, like Supertuck. I've been outspoken about this for quite a while now. I would say Chris Froome, a fan of Chris Froome here, but I would say Chris Froome really got the Supertuck, really got that popularity going back in Tour de France. Was it 2015, 2016, winning the stage, Supertuck, it would pedal with the egg whisk legs, vegan egg whisk legs, and just incredible, incredible stage that day. But I was just watching that, just thinking, man, front wheel blowout, pedestrian on the course, some dodgy 10-car driving, and in that Supertuck, try hitting the brakes hard in the Super. Actually, don't try that, because that's really, really, really dangerous. Your whole center of gravity is just, not there from what you're used to. So Supertuck, I'm glad. UCI, oh my God, finally doing something right. Ban that Supertuck position. Ban it. And I see it, I know a local rider, cycling friend of mine, had a bad crash, but also a lucky crash. Supertuck position, and had a crash, bike written off. Luckily, he was okay. Could have been in a wheelchair. Cycling's dangerous enough without making it even more dangerous. Supertuck is the dumbest thing out there. Really stupid. It's just, that you can get aero, just get down low and stay in the saddle. It's just as good. I mean, if there's a deer running out in the road, or a pedestrian, or a car, you can react better. Oh, it's like there's an Italian kid in a wheelchair now because he's doing a Supertuck, and there was a car on the race course that shouldn't have been there that was there, and he couldn't react in time. Bang. You know what I mean? If the rule was done ages ago, that kid, I would say, who knows? I'm just saying, let's increase the safety versus decrease the safety. Whenever you're doing a move on a bike, go, could I increase the safety a little bit here by paying better attention, by having my hands near the brakes, by going within my comfort zone? But in a race, you're not in your comfort zone. You can always use a bit of rational logic and enhance your safety, man. All right, so enhance the safety, and you enhance your longevity, you enhance your enjoyment, and it's just better for everyone. I don't take risks on downhills anymore. One, I don't have to. Two, what's the reward, man? What's the reward? I know Green Hill Road, Norton Summer, Montecute Road, I know them like the back of my hand. I could even go for the K or whatever, maybe. But the risks involved in doing that. To go fast down a hill, you need one, be risk averse, like I don't care what happens. Two, you need skill. I've got skill, but that risk, I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? It's a bit like I can pick up an eastern brown snake, but I'm like, for what? I've done it. Yeah, there's a lot of risk involved. Even the best snake handlers out there still get bitten. And I don't want to have to go to hospital, do an anti-venom, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I'm just like, I'll leave them for distance, see. So it's just being risk averse, risk conscious. Supertuck, glad they banned it. What else does UCI should ban? While they're on the banning streak, let's go banning riders who cause crashes. Let's do that. Let's start in the world tour. Crashes happen. They definitely happen. But deliberate crashing, especially at high speed. That sprint last year in that Tour of Poland, was it Fabian versus Dylan? That Dylan guy should be out of the sport. There's no place for riding like that. There's no place for people like that, man. All right? And by making an example of it, he's got money. He's a rich kid. He'll be okay. All right? He's not from Kenya or wherever. Like he's a rich kid. Most kids in cycling are rich, come from rich families. All right? And that's not a bad thing. It just is. So he'll be fine if he loses his job as a cyclist. He won't starve. He'll be fine. He's got money. But what we'll do is that the guy who crashed, Fabio, that could be his last ever season. Will he ever be the same? I say he won't. You can't have that level of concussion and still be the same person afterwards. You can't. You just can't. I got coward attack last January. I'm a different person. I've been going to rehab and all sorts of things. So it's like you're not the same person after a traumatic brain injury. You're just not. So that's why I put out there, people. You only have one brain. You only have one body, one set of knees, etc. You can get a knee replacement, but you can't get a brain replacement. All right, this is the noggin. the walnut. All right, look after it. So that's I think UCI should, because dodgy riding still goes on, like dodgy. No, we're not talking like bit of low speed stuff. We're talking in the sprints, chopping and that. It's just ban the riders, man. I mean, we ban riders for taking their own blood. What? I did a video about that the other week. How stupid the doping rules are. Let us use drugs. Yeah? Let humans do whatever they want to do, pharmacokinetic wise. Why not? Oh, but you just can't do that. That's not fair then. You know what's not fair? Is two riders with same genetic ability. One rider comes from a poor family. One rider is a rich kid. Maybe probably a brat, So now the kid has to get a part-time job and train and work part-time with school and that. And the rich kid, coaches, holidays, training camps, etc. So who's going to be a better cyclist in a year or two's time? The rich kid over here or the poor kid over here? Is that fair? None of them using drugs. But maybe the rich kid does use drugs because he's got ADD or he or she's got ADD and maybe they've got low hormones. So now they get the therapeutic use exemption stuff and now they're on drugs, but it's all legal, because they've got the TUE. So you've got the rich kid who can do all the training camps, etc. It's all hypothetical, but it happens in the real world. And they can do the hormones legally, and they can do the ADD medications legally, and they can use paracetamol, and maybe they've got a family friend who's like in pharmaceuticals, and they can just tell you, well, this drug's legal, and this is what you can do, and this is the dosage rate, and this is how you titrate it, and this is the clearance time, and this is, and they've got all this knowledge, and it's all legal. And then you got Kitty over here, little Jimmy, little Janie, with just a Lance Armstrong post on his wall or her wall or whatever, and just living the dream. And you go over here, and it's all legal. It's all legal. And is it fair? No hurricane way is that fair. But that's what's going on. So that's why I think all the doping, all the pharmaceutical, well, it's not even doping, it's pharmaceutical usage. Whether you're drinking coffee or you're taking EPO or whatever, you're still using, a product for enhancement, performance enhancement. So don't be sitting there drinking your coffee, going, yeah, Lance Armstrong, yeah, get rid of Lance, get him off. You're drinking your coffee to type on Cycling News Forum, yeah, Lance is bad. Same thing, man. You're using performance enhancement to be more edgy, have more focus or whatever. You're using a substance you don't really need for that reason. Let's say you got two kids. One of them can respond to training really good. They've got a just genetically better hormone profile. The other person, they get anemic real easy. And that person's doing iron injections or iron supplements. The other person doesn't need to do that. If they didn't take the iron or whatever, that's just vitamins. You're still taking something for the enhancement. It's just simple as that. So I believe there should be, a free-for-all when it comes to, taking whatever you want to take. That will just make things way more transparent, way much more safer, because you wouldn't have people putting blood in fridges in some rental, and then the electricity outs out, and they got a bag of blood that's been sitting overnight in Girona in the middle of summer, and then the electricity comes back on again. That bag of blood's been there for 10 hours or 1 hour or 30 minutes even, just lowering the temp, escalating the temp up, and now it's, can cause sepsis, blood infections, etc. How is that safe? Well, they shouldn't use drugs. Everyone's using drugs at a certain level, man. So it's just that's crazy, man. It's well, kids shouldn't starve in Africa and wherever. Over 30,000 kids today will die from starvation under age 5. Over 30,000 kids today will die from starvation under age 5. It's 2021. Will that hit the media? No, it won't. It'll be some Rona thing. It's just that shouldn't happen, but it does happen, all right? So I say if we have the free-for-all with drugs in sport, there can be, all of a sudden, there's no BS out there where people are under some illusion that this is a clean performance. What does even clean mean? Because you've got a doctor's script, now it's not. Now you're not. Now you're clean because you've got the TUE, you got the Cycling Australia or Cycling USA to give you the TUE. Now you're clean. I just think we should get rid of TUEs, get rid of doping controls, get rid of everything, right? And then that will make it much more fair. You know, still there will still be people out there who don't want to take drugs, and that's fine. You know, that would be that would be fine. And then you have to deal with, you know, there's side effects as well, long-term side effects of some drugs. Depends on the person, depends on how much you take, and if you abuse it or use it, stuff like that. So I just think it just clears it up, man. It makes it more even. But right now it's not even, because you got someone with knowledge, or you got someone who wants to take risks, who doesn't care if they get caught. Because they're like, well, Lance got caught, still a millionaire, still a multi-millionaire. If you get caught for doping, you still make a ton of money. Unless you're that Austrian dude, was his name Priedler or someone, who lost a bit of cash. But even still, you know, he can still make money. He can sell his story to the media. He can go in 60 Minutes. He can make money. He had to pay a fine. He can go bankrupt, and then later on, sell a book, sell a story, make money. So he's fine. So that's what I think. You know, is rational logic thinking. We got to get rid of the Supertuck, and that's done. Also get rid of the doping controls, and educate the world out there what's really going on, how the world really runs, right? When it comes to sports and profits and markups and stuff like that. You know, otherwise it's just it's professional sport right now is rich people funding aggressive exercise with the intention to make more money. That's all it is. That's all pro sport is. People wanting to make more money and using pawns like Lance Armstrong, Michael Jordan, etc. People who are in financial, you know, sort of not so good positions, but super hunger, super talent, and just exploiting them. And then making stuff in countries where it's super cheap labor, and then marking it up massively. You know, like how much does a carbon frame cost to make in China? A few $100. Sometimes they sell for $7,000 for a carbon frame made in China. It's like, it's hilarious. So just having that education out there, you know. But again, this is never going to happen. This is too much rational logic here. It's too much rational logic. That would be the ideal world. We have no starving children. We have no doping controls. We just have public education. That person who ran that marathon, that was high as heck. That dude winning the Tour de France, high as heck. That Michael Phelps guy in the pool, they had to change the pool water because it was so chemical they couldn't put it back into the system. You know, like, it's just, that's how it is, man. It's farmer results. That's the world we live in. It's farmer. And people don't care until they find out the truth. They're like, oh my God, Lance Armstrong, you gave me so much hope. It's like, man, I'm telling you all along. Right? It's always how it's been. It's always how it's going to be. Unless we go, hey, this is all legal. Go for it. This is what we do. And then you wouldn't have people because people go, oh, Lance Armstrong lied to us. He lied to us. Why did he lie? Because what are you going to do? You're going to go, hey guys. Yeah, last night I shot EPO and I've only got one nut because, you know, got removed and did chemo on that, so my body doesn't produce much red blood cells on me. So I've been using EPO and a bit of tests and stuff like that. So just letting you know. People are like, oh, use drugs. Get him off. He's dirty. So that's why people lie, because there's stigma around it. So we remove the stigma, we increase the safety. No more dodgy blood bags, you know, no more black market steroids that give people abscesses and infections and, you know what I mean? No more of this dangerous underground dark world. Same with cocaine, make it legal. And all of a sudden what happens then? Price drops. What happens to all the crime, violent crime? 99% of it goes away. You know? Imagine all the police resources we could have to fighting violent crime that will be minimized massively because cocaine's no longer $150,000 a kilo. It's now $1 a kilo, $10 a kilo. You know? So now all of a sudden people are, I can't be a multi-millionaire selling cocaine. Like, heck with that. Why am I carrying an AK-47? Like, this is too much logic. This is too much logic. So legalizing is a solution. And then you can free up resources, create education, awareness, things like that. And imagine that if all the prisons were emptied of people who are in drug possession or drug trafficking charges, and we just put all that money and resources into fighting violent crime, you know. Imagine that. Imagine how safe the world would be. How much safer the world would be. But again, this is too much logic. So my fundamental life thing there is, how can we increase safety in any given situation? How can we increase those safety? Getting a vasectomy increases your safety when you're having sex. You have to worry about pregnancy, stress, all that stuff. Riding the Supertuck, get rid of it. It's not necessary. Legalizing things takes away the violent crime, takes away the dodginess, takes away the unsafe practices. Your people are going to take drugs. All right? Educate them. Don't make it illegal, and just punish violent crime, and then you'll be good to go. But again, too much logic, and repeat myself over and over. What do you think? What do you think about logic, rational logic?